Another aspect that I want to talk about today is this Mandelbrot set. I believe I made some videos and posted it a few months ago on this concept. And this is what I've been able to see as patterns. I could see my parents repeating the same patterns as their parents, even though they were saying, I'm not going to do the same thing my parents did. I'm going to give my kids a better life. And I've had kids and I wanted to give them a better life. But what I noticed is the patterns are repeating. No matter how hard you try, you keep repeating the same pattern over and over again. And then there's the science that kind of explains that there are these patterns. And that's how I can see contradictions really easily, because I can recognize the patterns. And you can see contradictions so easy when you can see patterns. Everything is a pattern. And one of the biggest things within my family is abuse. There's a pattern of abuse. My grandparents were abusive, my parents were abusive, and I married into an abusive family. And then I watched my boys imitate their father and their grandfathers and their great grandfathers and become abusive people. And these are my children. I raised them to be very loving people. And I know that how they are unfolding this abusive behavior is out of love. They've been trained and brainwashed not to listen to their mother, because that's what the abusive father told them, and the abusive father, who doesn't financially support their children, it was all left to me. I was left raising my children in poverty. They didn't get all the stuff they needed, where their father, while not being responsible and accountable, had all of the money. And society tends to think the smartest guys, the ones we should listen to, are the guys with all of the money. So that's how they repeated the pattern, is they started looking at how judges, how lawyers, how government systems, how psychologists have all told my children, don't listen to your mother, she's living in poverty. Listen to your father, he's wealthy. So my children are constantly putting me down, not being supportive, constant criticism, all with the end purpose of trying to help me out. And meanwhile, what they're not recognizing is all of this criticism, all of this put down is just breaking me down, so I'm not able to function, not able to believe in myself, because I'm constantly being criticized for every freaking thing I do. And this is the patterns that we need to start recognizing. I've seen in like Tony Robbins was one example. I went to one of his seminars. Huge brainwashing going on there. And if you look at what his patterns are, is he lived in poverty, and he thought he was fixing the problem, thought he was transforming the problem by becoming wealthy. He studied science and programming, and then ended up being as abusive as what he experienced. While he's living in wealth, he's manipulating a population to create an awful lot of poverty. So he didn't actually transform the problem that created his poverty. He just made the best out of a bad situation for himself. He was very much thinking of self and not being a global thinker. And that's, we're not looking at the global picture in a lot of things that we are fixing. You have to look at the bigger picture of how everything is done. There is a smallness to our reality and a bigness. These are the patterns. When we think that there's something out there, it's actually coming from inside us. When I hear of UFOs, I kind of get a good chuckle. Even Stephen Hawking is saying, we as humans don't know how to solve problems, so we need to explore outer space. And it's like, there's nothing out in outer space. There's nothing but time in outer space. It's the very bigness of time Yet in the smallness, things can happen instantly. That's why you can get cancer cured spontaneously. That's why a lot of things happen instantly when something within the smallness of ourselves change instantly. Then the bigness unfolds instantly. That's how a miracle happens, is you have to change something within yourself, and then you'll watch it unfold like a pattern, unfold the bigness. And what I wanted to explain is government. Um, while we think government is controlling and manipulating us and doing all of this evilness, that is the bigness of ourselves. There is this thought that government represents us perfectly, and that is true. Government is not responsible and accountable. So look at your own life. Do you act responsible and accountable for your own life? Do you want somebody to control and manipulate you? Do you want a law that says, this is how we all must function? Or can you function yourself in a way that's lawful? Can you do the right thing for yourself as well as for your communities, for your country, for your global experience? Or do you need somebody to make a law that forces you to do it? And then do you try and manipulate that law? Do you try and get away with what you can get away with? You know, so government is representing us perfectly. As soon as we as an individual start acting responsible and accountable ourselves, then you'll find government will transform instantly, which means evil has no power. You can literally take away the power of the elites, the power of government, once you decide that you want to be responsible and accountable. The only way they have power is because we give them power. We give our power away to them. But as soon as you start taking your own power, it can all unfold instantly. Power, evil, Illuminati, government, devil, Satan has absolutely no power and can be stopped instantly the second you decide to change something that's inside you. Now look at the bigness of evil. It's anger, it's fear, it's non-forgiving. And so if you can't live your life, forgive those, who don't understand. What was Jesus saying? Forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. Everybody that's doing harm to you, you have to have that state. You have to create the chemicals, the proteins, the peptides that give you the experience of forgiveness in your heart. If you can't be forgiving, then you are living and unfolding the experience of unforgiveness. If you are angry because somebody's done something harm to you, then in the bigness of our reality, we will create our perceptions of everything that needs to sustain your feeling of anger. So you have to, if you want, decide what it is you want. Do you want peace and love? You have to have that state within yourself to be able to perceive it and see it and experience in the bigness of our experience. The way we can do that is be love yourself and then be loving towards other people. Don't push your ideas on other people. Ask other people, what is it you want? How can I help you? And then see if you can give them, and then you'll get more out of life by seeing that you've made somebody else happy. This is true happiness, is by serving others. And if we all did that, if you are serving all others and everybody else is doing the same, then you have a universe that's serving you. A universe is asking you what you need, and they will be giving you everything that you possibly want and more. It's a way of transforming evil into everything that's good in our experience. There is a lot of science that explains all of this. And evil does not want you to understand this evil. They've departmentalized all sciences so you focus only on one and not the bigger picture of it all. Good luck.